All right, Cole says he's going to join us in 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Looks like I could have been that.
Well, then
I
shouldn't we?
legitimately forgot before until you pinged me.
I assume so. And look, I mean, I've forgotten too in the past, so always just making sure. Do we need Cole here for or can he just pull up the thing of our heads? I think he can just pull it up and start whenever with it.
Okay.
Oh shit, I forgot that we were even doing that.
I guess you
Well,
don't watch our episodes.
Oh, I
yeah,
have
I
not
guess you
re-listened
don't.
to this a single time.
I guess you don't watch it. I listened for like the first like 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, okay. But welcome to the next episode of the Top of the 10th podcast, everyone. We don't have Cole with us right now, but he should be here momentarily.
You have to imagine our floating heads.
Yeah. I think he can
Hopefully they
still
know.
just pull that stuff up.
My head's usually floating.
Do we have distinct voices? Do we have any voice doppelgangers in the top of the 10th?
Any voice doppelgangers? I don't.
Like, do I sound like Dan? Does Dan sound like CJ? Does Cole sound like CJ? You know what I mean? Like, do we sound alike?
Do
I don't
we
think
all
so.
sound like
I don't
CJ?
think so.
No. All right. Different people.
Everyone sounds like CJ.
Yep.
I mean,
I sound
we're
like everybody.
pretty well dispersed throughout the country too, so
Yeah.
our accents and voices probably a little different.
Oh, damn. Oh, who's got an accent? Do I have one?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I think we all do.
yeah,
Hey, isn't
guy.
Colorado the most neutral accent? Isn't that what they say?
Probably.
The name of the
I would be
most
surprised.
neutral accent is called Broadcast American English. And that is spoken in a corridor that goes down from South Chicago along the Mississippi until it hits St. Louis and also extends into the upper Midwest, but not as far as Minnesota when you start getting the weird I to E sounds and the swallowed vowels. And then it will also go along the edge of the lakes, Great Lakes, into Pennsylvania north. And then that's where you get that. And then, of course, they teach that accent when you take acting classes and when you do broadcast classes. That's why it's called Broadcast American English.
Oh.
And you can look up that map somewhere.
That's wild.
When I moved from Georgia to St. Louis, where they speak Broadcast American English naturally, it was the craziest thing because in St. Louis, part of it is like Southern. You know, you sound like you're from the South culturally and by your accent, your dialect rather. And then part of it is that Broadcast American, and then there's this other version of St. Louis that exists further out. But anyway, in St. Louis City, if you sound like you're from the South, they all think you're poor and stupid. So I sounded like I was from Georgia, and all the kids made fun of me. So I sat and watched TV until I could sound right when I was 6, 7 years old, and finally I got it right before school started. Anyway, there's that story.
We finally
Yeah,
know
kid.
that Copernicus sounds right.
But if you want a gritty cop drama, you're gonna have to get in your car and go to Dunkies.
Oh,
Right?
donkeys. We got to get in the car and go park in the car park. We got to get donkeys.
Like the YouTuber?
What?
Never
Fuck, what
mind.
are you talking about?
Never mind.
This fucking guy.
Well, what's the topic for the episode, Mr. Hell?
Mr. Hell is my father. You can call me
No.
Copernicus. Look, the topic today is college baseball, where we all met, is starting up again. We have a full season under our belts almost. By the time this is released in 3 months, based on our timeline, the season will be over. So we have a full season under our belts. We've had the drama. We've had, the games. We were close to the playoffs, where some of us are in a playoff hunt, if not all of us. And a few of us are involved in CJ, I don't know about you, and I don't know about Coleslaw, but I know that DVD Total and I are at least somewhat involved in FCB now. So now that we have a full season under our belts, what do you wish you could go back and tell yourself in FCB, and what will be your approach to all the new folks? That's the question.
Ooh.
So why don't
Sweet.
we, CJ? Are you doing anything with FCB, or are you just kind of watching?
I think I'm scouting for Toronto, maybe.
Oh, cool. I'm scouting for Tampa Bay.
And I think Cole is scouting for Miami as well.
Oh, that's pretty interesting that they're
all
putting all the
involved.
rookies on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Rolls channel open and he asked for it, so I'm actually gonna do right now.
The top 5 is back at FCB.
I can
Everyone's
Back to school.
Oh, I
That's the
still don't
title
have the
of
time to
this.
GM, but scouting should be interesting.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking about GME, but I was like, I don't know if I have the time. I totally skipped out on umping into MLN, so as soon as I have a normal job again, I'll think about it. But
I am excited to be GMing along with GG3 the Dartmouth team. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, and I'm. Oh, sorry. You can keep going.
Well, CJ and I, we had really great GMs in Leo and Strawberry. So, I mean, we've talked about that on this podcast before. So, I just want to follow what they did. Do things like they did it. And I feel like no matter who they send us for signups and rookies, it should be a good season for it because a lot of people will be home for the holidays type stuff. So I think it should be pretty active. Whereas like in the spring and summer, I feel like a lot of people will be going outdoors, but doing it over winter time, a lot of people will be stuck indoors with nothing to do. So I feel like it could lead to being a more active season overall. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I've never seen it before this time of year, but my gut says we'll have a lot of involved people in college this year.
when did we
Yeah,
start playing? April?
I think we started. We started in March.
Late March, yeah.
I
Yeah.
know the draft was like late April because that was my finals.
Yeah.
Was the draft week?
It was the end of April was when we got drafted.
It has been a
Um,
minute, boys.
it's been a long time. Yeah, it's wild how fast this has gone.
I've known you guys longer than most of my new coworkers.
Good, and you can tell
Well,
them to shut up.
when your company's been bought like 3 times in the last 4 months,
Eh, yeah.
which is insane. No, I'm excited. I'm co-GMing with Sterling Turlington. We are the University of Washington Huskies. Um, I think our hype role is raise the woof, not roof. Um,
Nice.
yeah. I'm excited to see where this season goes because I did GM in RLN, MLN's minor league thing. And there was only like 20 players in all, so it was extremely quiet, very small. My team lost every single game, which was really hard for some of them.
Right.
But I feel like for them it kind of helped because they're all like just with like our scrimmage games. I'm seeing them and they're all being extremely successful now, which is always good. But I'm a- I'm excited to see the new people who show up. That's my
Yeah,
main thing.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I think.
yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
love it here, so I feel like it should be easy to share that love with some new people,
yeah,
get them excited. It was also pretty fascinating seeing the lead up to this moment too. So being involved in the FCB GM selections, you got a little peek into like how that works. And then I assisted in doing some of the like ad posting and marketing stuff. So just coming up with where to advertise, doing a little bit of reaching out to like subreddit mods and stuff like that. So pretty interesting to see how that all operates.
Yeah,
A lot of hard
there's
work goes
there's
They
a
into
haven't
it.
posted
lot.
yet, right?
Yeah, I think
So it was posted on Fake Baseball subreddit, and then I think tomorrow or the next day we're gonna start blasting all the other
yeah,
subreddits.
it should be because this is gonna be. I mean, this is gonna be released later, but it's November 14th right now, and I from what it sounded like from what Stupido and Tomas said that it should be November 15th is when they start to post everything. So we should be getting a lot of activity in the FCB server starting tomorrow. Which there are already players who like found out about fake baseball while the season went on, um, and I think like there's already a few in the server, but they'll probably just need to be prodded and be like, "Hey, we're starting."
Time to
Um,
re-engage. Yeah.
yeah, because that must suck to find to find all of that stuff, and then be like, "Oh, hey, we're in the season. Come back in 4 months." Sorry.
Yeah, that would suck. You just have to sit there and wait. There should be like you know how we have Dome? Uh, there
Yeah.
should be uh like what's it called? Like like a combine where people can like test out the game mechanics, get a little better at it. So even FCB itself is a little more competitive. There should just be like several different domes or something like batting cages, right? That we should set up if possible. I think that'd be really cool. Or just have like a bunch of pitchers or something sitting in FCB, people who are willing to play whatever, and then somebody can bat against them. That'd be neat.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
That way you could actually do the thing you're about to do, and then when something starts, I mean, you don't. I mean, the people who got there earlier would benefit from it, but like I mean, it would show not only the teams who are scouting, right, who's willing to put the work in, but it also allows people to not just sit and chat. Again, like I've said a couple times on this podcast, if this is a game for me, if I wanted a chat room, I'd go find a chat room. I can't be the only one who thinks like that. So I think there'd be a little something for everybody.
I do think, as a slight counterpoint to that, is it's you need to see if players can deal with like just being able to just chat for like if like a session's going on and they're not playing, or if they're like while they need to wait for a few days or like the session to go by, because at the start of like the first time sitting, and I know Copernicus, you had talked about this with us um,
Mm-hmm.
at the start of this season when you didn't play for like it was like 2 to 3 sessions straight, and you were like, I just want to get out there and actually help the team. Um,
Yeah.
so which is like a like minor mental fortitude test to be like, are you okay with being able to sit for so long without doing anything? Which we had on my RLN team. We had someone that I subbed out in like the fifth inning of a game, and they completely left the server because they were upset that we thought so lowly of them. And I was like, well, no one was probably gonna draft you anyway. So
Oh
if that's
shit.
what you think about,
Yeah, I think that only pitchers really have to deal with that. And I do think that could be. I agree with you. I agree with you. I do think that there's some value to watching somebody chat, but nobody's going to dome for 24/7. But like only pitchers have to. I mean, really, unless somebody is being sat for some reason, have to deal with that long. But I mean, yeah, it did drive me
yeah.
crazy. There's no doubt about it. I was being driven up the wall. But also, like the other thing about sitting for that long is it allowed me to take part in other ways, right? Like we were doing this podcast at the time. I was still like making lineup cards and stuff, although that like fell off at some point, and doing scouting. So you do learn how to do other stuff. I think that's another important thing for like the GMs and stuff and the mentors to teach. Um, you know, to teach like there's not really a bench. There's just other ways to play. I think that's a really important lesson that I would go back and tell myself. Oh yeah, so there's the next question. Okay, the follow up was, we've got a sort of a season under our belts. Now, imagine you go back and you could talk to college you, right? The you in college, basically you in April. What would you tell yourself? And I'm not talking about like make sure to swing 137 in the fourth game of the season, but I'm talking like what skills would you tell yourself to sit and think about?
Does anyone want to go first?
I mean, I can while you guys think. It's my question, so I've thought about
Yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah.
One of the things I would do is, I mean, I think, well, I mean, I kind of just talked about it. I do think that I would go back and be like, look, helping the team is important if you want to succeed. Learn how to contribute to scouting. Learn how to talk to people. Ask people what you need. You don't just your role here is not just to wait until you're put into a game. This is a team sport, and also you're going to put into it what you want to get out of it. I think that's another thing that I did anyway, but I think I would really highlight that for myself. And then also, I would tell myself not to list pitch. So sounds like a good
Go
idea, but
ahead.
it isn't.
There are some people in MLR I've learned who only list pitch, which is crazy to me. And there are some that are pretty successful. There are some that aren't, but they still do it anyway. But just to be able to like go into it, and because that can throw off some scouting where you're like, okay, like what if they change up in this, like if there's a runner on third, well, they won't note that there's anyone on third anyway.
Right. I mean that was my original thought about it. I was like list pitching because remember I told you guys list pitching tells me that I can't be read, right? Because there's nobody that's going to read what I'm going to do except for maybe my general patterns. But I shit you not, the only time I list pitch, I got lit up for 5 runs, and I will never do it again. I will never do it again.
Trying to
All right,
think.
somebody
I,
else.
f- I feel like if I went back, I would tell myself to shut up. I
Go
feel like I
on.
talked way too much. I know that because I've talked about because I had a bunch of teams that in the top 10, top 15 that wanted me, and Oakland was because I'd spent a bunch of time in their server, and I was like, I really like everyone here. I got my like initial interview was with Joel Justice, and I was like, I really like how they react to rookies and how friendly they are and how open they are about their team and everything. And then I just kept talking and made it really hard for them to find a path to draft me. Um, I, I
What does that
almost,
mean? What does that mean?
they, so I know in the FCB server, Dan just talked about this, how Fats traded down to get Dan. Um, that was all started by Oakland trying to get the number one pick and figuring out like who in the top four and top five, who did like what player they were looking for. Um,
I think everybody knew where I was destined.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
everyone
But the
knew, but
Cardinals were also like one of the only teams in the top four that wanted a pitcher.
they were. Yep.
So they figured out how to make that work. And
Well, what sparked it was uh, Teddy and Mark were essentially on Discord trying to get trades to work for like 8 hours straight on like the
Holy
day
shit.
before the draft. And they finally found a path through Fats and through Houston that e- e- everyone won. I know there were a lot of teams that they communicated with and were told no over and over again. I'm pretty sure it was a lot of it came from they were surprised that Houston was so open to trade down a few picks, or no, it was they were surprised when Houston said they would throw in another pick um, to St. Louis, which I think was the ATR pick.
Yes,
Um,
it was
and
clutch.
and that's what made the trade actually work. But I do feel bad for how much time they were forced to put in because I wouldn't shut my damn mouth for the FCB.
It's funny too because ATR has been a way better pitcher than I have, but
Hmm.
it's not all about skill. I think that's one of the
No.
most important things that I'll be trying to teach my rookies. Is that
Yeah.
it's just finding a fit for your personality. So be yourself. If you don't talk that much, don't feel compelled to over talk because then you may wind up on a team that's not right for you. Just be yourself. Do what you feel is the right thing. Talk to whichever clubhouses you feel like is a fit for you and sort of zone in.
I think it is good to like if you think you're gonna because I thought like as the season went on, I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna be like a top 10 pick. So I reached out to some of those GMs that didn't talk at all. Like I reached out to Don Chalupa. I reached out to Houston. I reached out to Toronto. Like just to see what they thought about me because I knew that like I hadn't seen their scouts that much. I hadn't seen them at all, so I was like, "Hey, I just want to know like how you guys are feeling about stuff," and they reacted. Specifically, Don Chalupa was really glad that I reached out because I know that Tampa had been going through some changes at that time, so he was preoccupied with that. But yeah, it's yeah that it. I was very surprised that everyone was okay with it because I had some teams that were not okay with that at all. Um, but is what it is.
And
So
I
that's
would guess I would, if I want to go from my lesson learned, I guess I would go the opposite way. As I should have talked more. Um, I went and did the roles. What command that is? Shows how much you talk on the server that I totally can't remember.
I think it. Oh yeah, what was
Rank,
rank? That's what I was.
Yep.
and I am ranked number 300 something in a server of 100 people.
That's wild.
So yeah, I should have talked more. I should have reached out to more GMs and kind of chatted that way. But also, in general, I'm a fairly quiet person, and that time when I had finals the week of the draft, I was not really spending a lot of time on the server.
Yeah, that's tough.
I
So it
think I
was.
told.
Go ahead.
I was saying I think I told you on like our first podcast. I had no idea who you were when you got drafted. I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah, I had no
Yeah.
idea who CJ was
Like
when
I
he
chatted
got
in the
picked.
clubhouse and like tried to help with the games, but I was in deep study mode for a lot of that. And like I regret that I should have talked more, especially like before I started getting to final season, like the month leading up to it, when I was not as busy.
I mean, you did all right, number 3, right?
I got here.
Yeah. CJ's
Big
like,
win.
man, I didn't talk at all. Nobody wanted me, and he was still the third overall pick.
I fell all the way to number
I fell
3.
all the way down to three.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I
fell
do
all the way
think
down to one.
you fell
Yeah,
the one.
rough. I actually didn't want to be picked at all. I didn't want anyone beside me. Um, Although I did say like one of the things that I told teams that I was like, yeah, wherever I sign, I'm gonna stay for two seasons at least because I don't want to be somewhere for one season and then leave because I feel like that's unfair if you're gonna draft me so high. Which I know not everyone thinks that way because I mean in the end it's not like we're being paid to be here.
You're
Um,
not?
no, I'm not, which I'm really upset about. Um, but
That's kind of surprising that you haven't been yet.
Yeah, I've
I
got paid a
know.
few times. I've been paid for a living.
Oh, guys, come on. Um, but I that was a big thing why Oakland went for me because I was like, yeah, where if you guys somehow and I wrote it, I think I wrote it in pen on the back of my tax returns because it was the only thing at my desk at the time that I was like, I will stay here for 2 seasons. And then my wife found it one day and she was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, don't worry about
Uh,
it. She was like, "What are you talking about? Why? What, dear?"
it's wild. I would, I think I would say to myself with regards to talking is I went in very hot and burned myself out pretty quickly. Again, we've had this conversation before, but I don't. Yeah, I think just be yourself. I think it really is important because you're going to spend your time with these people. You've got all the time in the world to spend with people, and if you come in and you're not yourself, and that's the expectation, not only are you going to let yourself down, you're going to let your team down as well. So it's
That
important.
so that's one thing that I don't know if I like wouldn't say I wasn't prepared for, but just didn't really think about during college was that once you get drafted into MLR and you're like released into the main servers, you are with all of these people that
Yep.
at first maybe I thought like wouldn't be as active around or it would just like take place mostly in clubhouses, but from my experience and what I would tell my incoming rookies is, don't make any enemies because you're ideally going to be hanging out with all of these people for some time to come.
Cole has
So
joined us.
Hi, Cole.
hey
I'm
Cole,
Sorry,
here.
Dan.
How do I sound?
You
you
sound
Doing
sound
great.
Great.
perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
So Dan was
Uh,
just making the point that you shouldn't make enemies because in college you don't think about being like a part of a part of the entire league once you're released into the main MLR server.
yeah, right. Like a community of 600 people.
I was gonna.
What was
This
the
is
what was the
coming
topic?
from.
Okay, the topic is we're FCB starting. We're all involved somehow, I believe. I think CJ said you were doing something. CJ scouting, I'm scouting. Dan and Total are GMs. And it sounds like you're scouting too.
I'm scouting. Yeah, I picked up a scouting role.
Yeah. So the question is, FCB is now coming around. We're all involved. So we've got basically an entire season under our belts already. We've seen some drama. We're in a playoff hunt. Almost all of us are in a playoff hunt, if not all of us. Um, we have pitched. We've hit. We've been in close games. We've got all this experience. We've been in the
Some of
community.
us have
Uh,
hit a walk-off home run in the last session.
Yeah.
In the
Not
last
gonna
uh,
name
couple
any
days.
names.
it was coleslaw. Congratulations. It was a great hit.
Thank you.
Who?
Anyway,
So
go ahead, Dan.
as a FCB GM, and my role will be to sort of serve as a welcome mat for the rookies and to kind of mold their minds into, how to think about and treat the league. What will you guys as scouts be looking for in potential draft candidates?
So, Dan, before we get to that question, I want to Cole the original question if he wants to answer it first or whenever he wants.
Sure.
Cole, the original question was dance is also important and even more fresh, so probably more interesting. The original question was, what would you go back and tell college you based on what you've learned over the past year? And then Dan's question is, what role do scouts think that we play as a scout?
Jeez. I would tell college me that you don't have to scout every at bat for your team.
Oh,
It's okay.
I should have said
Tell-
that too. God
Tell
damn it.
Total that
Oh.
now.
Tell me that
Total
now,
that right
please.
now.
Tell me that now.
Actually, but you know what? If I tell Total that, then Oakland will never ever get a hit again because
Oh.
they only hit when he scouts and he only hits when he doesn't scout. So.
Oh my god, dude! I can't tell you the like every time I scout for myself, it's a strikeout, and then when I just go on a whim when one person says something, it's like a hit every single time. I can't scout for myself, but I can scout for everyone else on the team. It's so frustrating, but it's also nice because we're 8 in heaven still. So
Yeah.
You and
Dude.
everybody
I'll take
else.
it.
Yeah,
I thought that
everybody.
was the
Yeah.
default record for the AL.
Sure is.
Yeah, it is.
The
Yeah.
I scouted for the first time. I put together a very, very like in-depth scouting report for this last game because I want to win. And I was like, well, I'm pitching, and so I want to make sure they're getting hits. And the first time I scouted, we ended up performing like well under our averages, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to scout for them anymore. So you learn your lesson. I did every at bat. They didn't listen to me every at bat, of course, but like sometimes it's better just to let your team do their thing.
Yeah.
All right, so scouting.
Even if your team doing your thing is, swinging, like vibe swinging, that works for some people,
What is five swinging?
Vibe swinging.
Oh, vibe.
Just, like yeah. Just like
Swing
I
69.
just want to swing
Hippies.
this number.
I just did pure meme swings at the last MILR game, and I got honorable mention for player of the game. I never swing memes, I never pitch memes, and
To be
ended up
fair,
not
we
being
were playing at a park where to get a single, the OBR was like 249. So that did help.
I'm just comparing
But like
myself
you
to other
were
players.
completely, you had like sub 100 dips every single bat. It was so funny.
It was embarrassing because I was like, I am not even trying. And I was like, is this what luck feels like?
And then we still lost in classic Seaman fashion.
Sometimes the seamen don't find the egg.
No.
It was a fun match. It really
That was
was.
a very fun. But we're doing our next game is going to be myself and Mark plus a special guest versus our entire team.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's the special guest?
Yeah, it's against you, Copernicus. I won't say. Well, by the time this is done,
Total, this will not be out until long after that game is over.
I'm aware. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hope the draft went well.
But yeah, RGM6 in Oakland is a part of the 2 axe scrimmages, and he said he wants to be a part of a third, so he wants to join us, and we were like, yeah, sure, why not?
All right, if this comes out before that is announced, I will bleep it or something.
If this comes out before Saturday, I'm going to be very impressed.
Oh, is it Saturday? Yeah, that's not happened. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cole's like, shut up, idiot. Okay, so Dan's question, because I stepped on it, telling Cole the old question. Dan's question was scouts. What is your role? What do you think you're supposed to be doing for the rookies in FCB?
What are you looking for?
Oh, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
I'm looking for people who help the team win.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for.
That's valid.
I actually don't care how much they talk. I don't care about their personality for the most part, unless they are like fucking radioactive. I want to win. That's what I care about. And as a scout, that's what I'll be looking for. Hopefully we'll have a Rays scout who's personality driven, so we have a nice balance.
I will be looking for a decent combination of somebody who does scouting in their clubhouse and somebody who's, willing to talk a little bit and, be a clubhouse presence. Miami is not, like super bumping or anything, but we like to chat. We like to, be friendly and hear about things from each other's lives a lot of the time. So it's like we want somebody who's probably not super closed off or has no interest in talking to people, because I mean we have some people that are like that, but that's not the kind of environment that I want to have like all the time, so like I would love to add somebody else who wants to engage with people and chat a little bit, but not necessarily like like the Cleveland server or whatever.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's always a balance. Like, obviously, someone who helps with the scouting, someone who is active in the clubhouse, helping people decide what to swing or pitch. but also, you want somebody who is a good person in general.
Yeah.
And, you want to be around for the next 8 months until the next draft or free agency hits.
I will be happy
So that
if I do not encourage my GM to draft someone who then down the road causes some major catastrophe in the league, like some of the infamous
think it'd be
people that we
hilarious.
still discuss today. I mean, it would be hilarious, but I don't want to be responsible for it. So you guys have fun.
Right. I was going to follow up with Copernicus. So
Yeah.
you don't care if you draft a clubhouse cancer personality as long as they hit well or pitch well.
If they are a cancer, then that's a different story. I mean, I have a limitation, but like, I don't care if I talk to them ever. Like I don't need to have a sit down with them. I don't need them to like chime in every day. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to win. And if I want to talk to people and like have nice conversations with people, I've got an entire server full of 600 people to talk to, and all I have to do is click from one logo to the other. So it's not like I'm ever stuck in the same place with them. What I can't replace, I can replace a talker. I can replace a friend. I can replace an internet friend. What I can't replace is production. That is something that has to come from somebody who cares, somebody who's active, and somebody who has an eye for game. And that is something that I need on the team. I do not need a friend on the team.
I think that's wrong. I think that's totally backwards.
Okay,
you can teach someone how to be productive.
Here we go. So this is Spot the Capitalist, and we have spotted the capitalist.
You can teach someone to be productive. You can't teach someone to have a good personality.
But I don't need them to have a good personality. Their personality is not really useful to me. I mean, unless it's hurting me, right? Like if it's a neutral personality, that's my like what I can deal with, right? And if they're cool people, that's awesome. That's just cherry on top. But what I want on a team, on a competition, is somebody who can play the game well. And as long as they don't come with cancer, right? That's a different story. I'm talking neutral or above. That's what I'm talking about. Would I like somebody who's very fun and like a buddy? Yeah, of course I would. Of course I would. But is that what I need on the team? No. Not personally. I mean, my team might want something else, of course.
No, and I think one thing to keep in mind is we've all taken our team from top 5 draft picks to wildcard slots single-handedly.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have
well, hold on
picks.
now. Okay, you might have.
Like,
I realize that the Blue Jays clubhouse is like dead as a doornail, but we have teammates.
Hey, we've righted the ship. That's where we're.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have top 5 draft picks, any of us here, I don't think, unless there's been trades that I don't know about.
No.
So it's finding those people who are not the top 5 who are still going to go help you
work.
win.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of this is going to sound bad for us, but I feel like a lot of those like lower round first picks have been doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to look.
Insanely well.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. If we are middle of the packs, all of us. Let's see who's in the middle of the pack of each of these rounds. Okay, so let's start. Middle is like draft 13. So 13, round 1, Alexis Texas Ranger.
He's
12,
been amazing.
12 was Rex McStrange. He's the number 1 rookie
Rex
right
is
now.
insane.
Erling De La Cruz, don't know where they are. Dark Brother, a former Okra, who I don't know where he went. Arksy Winkler is a Pirate. Abraham Lincoln, one of the top pitchers in the league. Milwaukee Brewers at 17. Liru, Ichiro, and Pub Cosme. Those are like the middle. That's the middle in round 1. That's a pretty good.
All fantastic.
That's a pretty good group.
Yeah. You'd be happy with any of those folks on your team for sure.
Man, I would kill for Rex and Alexis and Babe. I mean,
Well,
like all
and
those.
how far down was Keita Makoto Date picked?
He was in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's top rookie
He was
pitcher.
literally. He was.
Fuck.
He was the last pitcher off of the board.
I mean, I think he kind of got.
Who were the final 5 in the first round?
Final 5 is Butch Sterling, Keith Bornignon, Slick Grifter, Serengeti Fingers, and John Applebee's.
Still quality players there.
Still quality. Where's Makoto?
John's not doing so hot.
Oh, burn.
I mean,
yeah, fuck you, John.
where's he now? Where's he at? He's at. He's got just slightly negative, or like minus 0.164, so it's not bad.
What's my Raj War?
Do you want to know it? Your Raj is negative point 470, negative 0.470.
Okay, so I'm almost neutral.
No.
No.
I'm close.
No,
I'm close to
you're
neutral.
not.
It's better than being -1.
Yeah, you're right.
If you throw a perfect game, you might get back to 0.
DVD, you are right behind Shag McBenney.
Oh, we
Okay.
love Shag. And Sid Hugo, who was drafted 6th. Just
Yeah.
missed the top 5.
Sid is
doing
an
that
excellent
bad?
clubhouse
Sid-
presence, though.
Yes.
He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time either.
Oh,
it's
really?
too bad.
That sucks.
Oh, Cole, you fucker! Oh, was that you
What?
hit that walk off? I was ahead of you for a while, and I was pumped. I know. God damn
Not
it.
for long.
Cole's like, what did I do? I just showed up.
Yeah, I know. Well, why don't you strike out next game so I can get back up there?
No. Please, no.
So my Raj War is terrible, but I feel like I've contributed a lot to the clubhouse and the league, despite
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Oh,
you have.
oh my God! I would definitely, for sure. I would say you're a more valuable player than I am in terms of overall. I think so, anyway. In terms of overall contribution.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of places in the community to like make your mark. It doesn't just have to be to one aspect either. There's a lot that incoming rookies could look forward to. It all depends what they want to get out of it.
That's a good point.
I hope that there's rookies who will really take, who want to do like MLR media stuff, like doing like news posts and things, because I always loved when like the fake draft boards would show up and stuff.
Oh, those were cool.
And I hope that they come up with like that we have someone who will write like fake articles about like game of the moment and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there will be. I think there's going to be tons of that stuff.
I think what's really nice about this group is that we have a pretty for all coming in and being in the same group and like hanging out a lot. We have a pretty wide range of opinions about stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And we all get along anyway. Crazy.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm kidding.
CJ's been talking mad shit in DMs.
It happens.
Well, I mean, you think about it like this. Within our tiny walled garden of MLR, sure, we have lots of varying and different opinions and outlooks on things. But when you zoom out to the wider world, like, we have to have a lot in common just to be here in MLR together.
It takes an interesting person to see somebody post something about Reddit ball and be interested enough in baseball, enough of a nerd to care about kind of the numbers side of it. All of that, just to be any kind of interested in this in the slightest.
Right.
Or
so
it's
you
can be horribly depressed and looking for an escape. And in that case, welcome.
You're gonna have a great time though. I think all rookies are gonna. I mean, if you like baseball and you like hanging out with people, and you like to compete, I mean, there's something here for you. I think that's what's important.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's basically the end of my question. And we can keep talking, but yeah, I think the final question I have is kind of like a little lightning round. What's like the one thing you're most excited to see in college baseball?
All of the random scouting methods that people come up with without much guidance.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. Because new ground can be broken there, right? There's always some new nuance to it that maybe someone before hasn't thought of.
I'm
it's
excited
always fun to watch.
Sorry, go ahead, Total.
I was gonna say it's always fun to watch like the gears start to turn and like when things start to click and they're like, oh, I understand it now. There's no way, like they're gonna pitch here no matter what, and then it's like a 480 plus off, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to the game. That's what happens.
I'm excited to see that first player fucking do something amazing and really freak out about it. Like hit a home run and they're like, holy shit, I did it. You know, I love like a first time excitement. That's
Shout out to Sig Hugo because first game, first pitch, he cranked one out of the park. It was like
motherfucker.
Yeah, massive highlight for him.
My home run in the bottom of the sixth to tie the game is no small reason why I'm still here.
Yeah, that was amazing too. That was amazing.
I remember when I hit my first home run.
The new, sorry, I like one of these days I will not talk over somebody.
You have to do one of these in person.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the new names that rookies come in with. Like that's one of my favorite parts of fake baseball.
Do you ever wish you could change your name? Coleslaw, you've got a good name. Like Copernicus Hell is not probably something I would have chosen again. I just didn't think about it that hard. I mean, I like my name; it's fine. You know, it's my name. But like, I wonder what I would have come back with.
Yeah.
Like, part of me just wants to be like just Satan.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I'm most looking forward to is all the new friends to make. And, you know, I'm not an idiot. I recognize that it's entirely possible that some clashing personalities join or someone who's a dick joins and then, you know, causes a scene. Like the potential for that is always very high, right? But I think overall, just based on the numbers game, there's definitely going to be some cool people that will be joining and loving.
Can we call this episode Friends Are Temporary, Talent is Forever?
Yes.
That's a good name.
I suggested Total Dial.
Yeah, but we might be cutting that joke.
True.
But we're going to leave it in about us talking about cutting it, so people will wonder.
Yeah, I'll cut this too.
That's driving engagement.
And then
this episode's going to be 5 minutes long. Just you wait.
And then
so it's the Politics Channel gets a hold of this.
Back in league news, calling me out for stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm used to this. That's one thing for me being the first overall pick. The amount of like, I wouldn't say fights, but the amount of like notable conversations I've been a part of is way too many.
Because you don't just let things go.
No, yeah, you always gotta have the last word. Total.
No, No, look. If we're gonna talk about the last thing that occurred,
and the podcast,
I told the mods I was backing off, and then someone replied, and I'm like, well, I said I was trying to back off, and they wouldn't shut up. So
backing off means allowing them to continue to talk without responding.
I feel for you, Total. When I'm fired up, you've seen my walls of text before. So.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We are alike in that way, I think. Because not only do I want to prove that I'm right, but I also want to make sure they realize they're stupid. Like I have 2 goals.
My comment about Total not letting things go is that you'll reply to anything. Like you can't just like let somebody else handle it. You're in all these conversations because you see something to conversate about, and you're like, yes, I must be part of this.
I like it.
I like it. I think it's what's the word? It's like it's a warm, fuzzy feeling. Total is interested, and like you keep the conversation going. You don't ever bother me. Some people bother me. I think you can all see that when it happens, but I'm all right with Total.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll stand up for you too if you ever get in trouble. What was the fucking what was I gonna say? I don't remember. It was not important. All right.
Well,
I think that might be it.
I think that's the episode. We might be, if we can convince DVD, we might be having some guests on the podcast coming up.
Ooh.
So let's talk about that. You guys just want to have guests on and ask them questions?
We can figure out what the format will be.
I don't
It
wanna
has to
do
be
what
better.
Top 5
Yes.
does.
No,
It has
we're
to be
gonna,
Lower Jeopardy.
we're gonna improve on what the top 5 does. That's what.
How
we're
are you
doing.
going to improve on a proven formula?
We're gonna talk about
Oh,
it.
what has that formula proved?
DVD's the kind of guide to go, we don't need paper, we have chalk.
Yes.
Chalkboards.
I think
you said chalk, and I heard chalk banana.
Oh,
Yeah,
chalk.
we don't need paper. We got
don't
chalk
need
banana.
Paper, we have hey, he changed his name to XX.
Yeah, to be really
Whatever.
freaking obnoxious
What
when it
is-
comes to looking up Zand in the freaking bot.
And I say I want to name myself Ooga 2, and everyone tells me no. But that's
Could be Ugadile.
I suggested to my clubhouse that somebody should change their name in the off season to Chalk Banana, so he can't change.
oh
Banana.
my god. Hold on, I'm gonna
Ooh, I
ask
want to do it.
Clubhouse about this right now.
I didn't realize until we started talking that I'd become some sort of MLR Ayn Rand, where I'm a super capitalist. So that's something I just learned about myself.
Yes, congratulations on your.
Congratulations.
I like
yeah.
nice people. I just don't need you. I'll say that.
It's the startup grind set that you've been living for so long.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so fucking true. And like, hit
I know
home.
it is. I can hear it in the way you talk.
That's the worst, dude. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it fucking that's a real therapeutic comment, because I'm glad you heard that. And it feels like that sometimes. Oh, it's hard to just relax. Okay, let's end this. Let's end this thing. Everybody say bye.
Yeah, let's end so Copernicus can relax for once.
Yeah, and I can attend my meeting. You know
Yeah,
what?
you got that.
I just as a clarification, which I have not really talked about this in MLR Main yet. I'm now back in the U.S. I've quit the PhD program, but I am trying to finish up my paper and attain a master's degree. So on top of now working full time, I'm going to be trying to write my paper, meet with my supervisor once a day in the evening, and also do a bajillion other things around the house. Because I'm living with
And
my
when are you going to
parents
get
at the
this edited and uploaded, dude?
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays,
later.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will come out
When it
December
comes out.
2025. So.
I'm so excited when our playoff predictions episodes comes out in like session 9 of the next season.
Also, are we ever going to do that highlights stuff with Twat?
I was kind of half planning on starting for the playoffs
That's what we
and
were doing for the
college.
playoffs was the idea.
Yeah,
I think doing
that's
for college could help, get people engaged too.
Yeah.
It could,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, see you guys whenever we're back again. Bye.